Welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. I am your host, Jared, CEO and founder of Fran Opps, and this is Fran Opps Live. Man, I am so excited about today to bring on the president of HOODZ. HOODZ is one of the most well-renowned, nationally recognized brands and very unique in the space that they're in. I can't wait for you to look at this franchise opportunity because this could very well be the next chapter for your life. To help you franchise your future and to kind of pursue, being in control of your own schedule and pursuing that financial independence that you're seeking and those goals and dreams that you have. This could very well be that. And so I'm excited to kind of unpack this opportunity with you. You've maybe seen them a couple of different places. Maybe you've seen the awards that they've received as a top franchise through the Franchise Business Review, or a few other places as well. They've been through some shifts, and their new president, Nathan, who's with us today, is leading the way and taking them into the next chapter of the life of this business. And man, I can't wait for you to unpack the support, the marketing that's involved, everything that they're doing behind the scenes, and to help you be successful as a franchisee in this system. It's going to be a good one today. And so this is completely, as we've mentioned before, powered by and sponsored by Business Alliance Incorporated, the premier franchising network of all franchisors, franchise consultants, franchise suppliers, and providers. If you want to know more about that, hit me up later, drop it in the comments, whatever. But for all of you, drop your questions in the chat today. I'll get those asked to the president of HOODZ in real time. And so I'm excited to do that very thing. So without further ado, here is Nathan Willard of HOODZ.
What HOODZ does is they clean the hood systems in restaurants, hospitals, universities, anywhere where there's a commercial kitchen. Not many people know that every single year, any of these organizations are required by law to get their hoods cleaned, typically about every 3 months. So it's federally regulated. It's a repeat business, and when we got into it a number of years ago, we were the very first national franchise that was in this industry. We've grown to be the largest hood cleaning company in the world.
Now is an excellent time to be looking at a business model in itself because the restaurant industry is so strong and remains strong. If you're the type of person that really values relationships, you're looking forward to building something you can grow in your local community, HOODZ is that unique opportunity because of the reoccurring aspect. The services we provide, along with the reoccurring aspect, gives you the benefit of having that relationship with the customer for ongoing time. So assuming that you're an owner that builds relationships, maintains those relationships, and your prospective customers for life, this is a great one-time scenario for you.
All right, Nathan Willard, welcome, my friend, to the greatest group in the metaverse. Man, I'm honored that you would share your time with us to be here today.
No, thank you. I love what you do, man. I'm super passionate about this business, so happy to share what I can to to further the growth of this great business.
Yeah, for sure. And which is pretty cool. You actually were sharing with me, you have a pretty cool story of how you kind of got to where you are today. Would love to kind of start there. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are?
Yeah, it came out of college and doing the door-to-door. The economy wasn't the best in 2003, and came across this one, Service Brands International, which housed Molly Maid, Mr. Handyman, 1-800 Dry Clean, and some others. And I did my spiel, and she said, well, you're a little overqualified, but I have a mailroom position. And I said, look, I'll take it. I can learn a Pitney Bowes machine like anybody else, right? And I was very fortunate to get in there on the ground floor, and was able to work my way through that, and ended up running a Mr. Handyman myself. And so I've been in franchising since that time. So learned a lot, and was even a business coach with HOODZ for 6 years. And then the past 3.5, I was honored to take on the president role. So super blessed.
Yeah. What a story. Going from the mailroom to the president. Incredible. So truly that's pretty because that's the dream, right? Like
Right.
people think like they have these pictures of what they want to achieve and you're experiencing it. You have literally you're living that out. It's incredible. So tell us a little bit then about HOODZ. Like, if at first guess, I would assume maybe just it's an auto company. And so tell us a little bit about who HOODZ is and what does it
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, so HOODZ focuses on kitchen cleaning exhaust, right? So everybody knows, and you go on the back grill and you throw a pound of hamburger down there, and by the end of it, you're left with half a pound at best.
Yeah.
Those grease vapors have to travel somewhere.
Yeah,
So
they go
they go
somewhere.
up in the restaurant and they go up through the ductwork. So it's very important that that ductwork gets cleaned in
Mm,
accordance with the local fire marshal or AHJ authority having jurisdiction.
yeah.
So those hoods are stickered, and when those fire marshals come through, they make sure they're cleaned on frequency, or the restaurant has a potential to be shut down. So we focus mainly on that kitchen exhaust cleaning.
Yeah.
We also dabble into filter exchange, which is a great service for the restaurants.
Okay.
We also get into conveyor oven cleaning. So, we all know America loves its pizzas,
Yeah,
and
right.
we're happy to clean them.
Yeah, that's great. How many restaurants like think about that? Like that this grease, the fumes, everything, it's going somewhere. It's up in our air ducts. Like this, we should clean this. How many think like process that?
So yeah, so let me throw this stat at you, and that's burned in my mind. So America's number one food is hamburgers, right? We consume 50 billion hamburgers a year. So
Billion,
you
not
you
millions.
yeah,
Billion.
billions. So
Oh my
you
God.
talk about some built-in repeat revenue. American loves their hamburgers.
Wow, that's true. I at least am 1 million of those myself. So
Right?
I do love a good burger. So this is a huge need. But why is now? Because it's been around a while. Right? How long has HOODZ been around? And it can tell us why should someone invest into this now?
Yeah, so our specific model was started in the 70s.
Hmm.
We started franchising it in 2009, shortly after Ducks became a part of BELFOR Franchise Group.
All right.
And we saw the need and we're getting requests for this type of service. So, yeah, we launched in 2009. 2011, we added national accounts or regional accounts to make sure we could support those bigger players out there in the system.
Hmm.
And and then we expanded to the conveyor oven in 2015, and then the filter exchange. So we made sure we had our good basis before we really took that next level.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're currently up to 138 territories in the U.S. and Canada.
Wow, 138. Wow, that's pretty impressive growth, man. Good for HOODZ. You mentioned BELFOR too. I forgot to mention that earlier at the front. Can you threw that in there? Can you? And we even saw it in the video a little bit about. We saw that name BELFOR. Tell us
Mhm.
who is that?
Yeah, so BELFOR Franchise Group started in 2008, and they've grown to 15 brands since then. But it's really a great family because we can tap into one another, not just on learning things, but hiring and how this brand does it differently. And so we get together once a month with all the presidents and share best practices. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of internal knowledge that you gain just in being a part of that. Not to
Mhm.
mention BELFOR as itself is the leader in what they do. So it's a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah, no joke. What kind of owners are you guys looking for?
Yeah. So I mean, nobody wakes up and says, "Look, I think I want to clean grease for the
I
rest of my
was
life."
just thinking that. It's not like
You know,
it's not the
it, it's
sexiest business, right?
it's not, and but that's okay
Yeah,
because of it being code compliant. It doesn't have to be because it's got to be done, right? So
that's a great point.
yeah, so I mean, owner wise, we have a wide variety. I mean, I've had engineers, I've had just people that like to be local community individuals. There's really not a specific owner that we look into. We've got a
Mhm.
2 week in-person training that we really drive home what we do, how we do it. So that's really the knowledge behind it. But I would say as long as you're good at building like a culture
Yeah.
because you're going to have technicians and things like that
Okay.
working for you. You
Yeah.
want to just create a positive vibe in your local community and be able to educate as well, whether it be
Yeah.
fire marshals or
Yeah.
restaurants on what we do.
Okay, so the owner brings on technicians. They're not the one doing the work. Are they the one doing the work from the beginning?
We have some owners that elect to do that for a few
Okay.
months just to learn the ins and outs of the
Okay.
system.
That's fair.
But definitely do not have to. You can hire somebody for that.
Yeah.
We've got a great online university that people go through. We have in-person training for techs. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that, but it's also good to have some street cred and know what you're talking about. So
Yeah. That's
to
fair.
go out once in a while and clean a little bit, maybe mop the floors with the techs, that type of
Mhm.
stuff goes a long way.
Yeah, for real. How hard is it to find techs for this?
So had you asked me that prior to COVID, I would have said it was more challenging.
Oh, okay.
We've, in the last 3 years, we've done a lot of initiatives listening to the franchise community of
Yeah.
the hoods of what they need, right?
Mhm.
So we've gone after technicians on TikTok. We have campaigns. We have a CRM platform that we tap into
Okay.
for the owners. So that has gotten much better over the past few
Mm.
years. And I think a lot of that is, some guys prefer working at night. Sometimes they want to be home when the kids are there during the day or whatever. The wife is
Mhm.
working. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of different, we have a lot of military too that
Oh,
just
really?
enjoy, yeah,
Do you have
they
any kind
enjoy
of
that.
discount? Do you do a discount for military?
Um, as far as discount on the
Oh,
clean
you're talking about tech specifically, though.
technician.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They like the dirty to clean aspect of it.
Yeah. Hands
They
on.
like
Yeah.
managing their own thing, so
Yeah.
that's been a
Yeah.
good one too.
And then you mentioned you do training for the techs too. So not only do you do training for the owners, but you actually train their technicians.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's something, each location does training a little bit differently, but we have an online university that they can go through and
Yeah.
walk them through different types of accounts, whether it's, a barbecue versus a grill or a Chinese restaurant, things of that nature.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about what that training then for owners looks like as well in ongoing support too? I think I saw even in that opening video. If you're watching this now live, make sure you catch this later on. But at the opening video, I think I saw some clips too of I don't know if that's your headquarters or like
Yeah.
what that's about. But tell us about training as a whole.
Yeah, so that's where it's nice to have BELFOR as your big brother, right? You've got
Oh, okay.
state-of-the-art training facilities. We
Yeah.
have a two-story in-house kitchen in our facility that we can go to at any time. It's got different types of restaurant setup.
Yeah.
So we can literally go in there and practice and film and try different techniques. But more importantly, when somebody comes into this, they can go in there and learn the best practices that we've developed over the years and really apply them into training. And then they'll also go on to a live job as well when they're there for that week, and they'll apply those skills too before they even go onto the field. So
Mm.
that's a great resource for us to have.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. What does that do? Is there anything we talk a lot inside this group about the process of discovery and getting into ownership? Is there anything unique about the HOODZ process or the BELFOR process as it relates to their due diligence and discovery to becoming an owner?
It's one of those things. It's always relationship building for me. So
Hmm.
once somebody is in the pipeline per se, and
Sure.
they're talking to our Fran Dev person, I always like to engage in that call conversation with them,
Hmm.
just to see what they're all about, make sure it makes sense for both parties. If things align and things are looking good, then we'll have you in for a meet the team day, and you'll get to meet the entire team, including business coaches. And that's where I always say, whether you go with HOODZ or somebody else, you got to feel comfortable in that support system, right? Because that's really going to ramp you up faster than the others, is having that. So having a business coach look at your 3-year goals and work with you, having a reunion call set up. I mean, all this stuff is what should be applied for a new owner. And we
Yeah.
really focus on that relationships.
Yeah, right. So good. And that's really what franchising, like successful franchising, I'll say, not all franchising, successful franchising, it really has to be based on relationships through and through. I mean, that's what we do as a consultancy with the candidates we're working with, the individuals watching, inside the members inside this group, the brand and including HOODZ that we're like, everything's got to be based on the strength and transparency of relationship, and so it's so key. That's really what we do at Fran Opps, is trying to determine, like, it's what I tell my candidates up front. It's like, my goal is not necessarily to help you find the franchise name, the ones with the most well-renowned names, but I want to help you find the best franchise fit. And the only way I can help you find the right fit for you is if I know you, and if you know me. And so that relationship is so foundational from the very beginning all the way through the life of running and owning your own business. It's critical. And so I love hearing that from HOODZ too.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just with my past experience in franchising, the owners that make it are the ones that participate. They lean on not just the business coaches, but they tap into the network. They go to the conventions, the regional meetings. That's so much knowledge in there, especially with HOODZ, because we're such an older brand.
Yeah.
We have a lot of pay it forward mentality. So if somebody has a question, whether it's 2 a.m. at night or 2 p.m. in the afternoon, they go on our forum and they can ask those questions, so it's super pay it forward mentality. And I love that about franchising.
That's yeah, no joke. That's so good. Tell us about some of your franchisees. Do you have any like crazy success stories of current owners in your system that they were once where some of our viewers are, right? Where they're considering ownership, they're curious about it, maybe even fearful about taking the plunge and leaving their 9 to 5 and the comfort and security of that to chase after this dream. Do you have any people that are now like on the other side of that, kind of living out those dreams they once had?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch, but there's a couple that always hit home for you.
Yeah.
There's one individual in Orlando, right? His mom and his stepfather started the business. He fell in love with the concept and worked it, and started literally as a technician and worked his way through.
Yeah.
And he took that business over, and it has just flourished. And it's so great to see, because he paid his dues.
Yeah.
He's a great culture
Not quite
ambassador.
Not quite the mailroom. But
Yeah. Yeah. He's just a great guy. He's a good culture ambassador, like I said, and he does the right thing. We've had another owner that was a manager in the business, and, he loved what he saw, and he ended up purchasing the business from the owner. And, he's extremely large now in California. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Hey, with your guy in Orlando, is he cleaning and doing some work for Disney or Universal or anybody in that kind of space?
He's got some big players.
Does he?
He does have some big players. I won't say who they are, but he's doing great. And again, his quality is just phenomenal. I mean, his techs are ride or die, right? They're in it for him and what he stands for. So,
wow.
They're in it for the long haul.
Okay. That's such a good point that you just made there. Like, because anybody of any business, any candidate I'm talking to, they always ask the same 3 or 4 questions, right? And one of the questions that everybody asks is, how hard is it to find employees? And I feel like every person, every company I talk to, it's very similar. The truth is, it's really not that hard to find employees. The challenging part is keeping the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of that comes back to, I think, the example you're sharing of this franchisee in Orlando, of the example of, they aren't necessarily in this because they love cleaning ovens. They're doing this and they're ride or die because they believe in their boss.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that mindset of like, man, look at this guy. He's crushing it in all the ways, but one of the best things he's doing is he's caring for his employees. That's how you keep the good ones. You care 100%. About them. Don't be a crappy 100%. Boss.
Yep. And he gets it, right? He's got the PlayStation in the break room, so the guys get there early to play. He's got the foosball tables. I mean,
simple things.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. So good. Tell us about what the investment. Tell us the investment is. You mentioned this guy in Orlando. He's got a place where you actually go. So do you need an office space? Do you need a building? Like, tell us about the investment and then the cost of it all too.
Yeah, so I mean, having an office space is always a great thing, right? Because it changes the mentality of the technicians.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
do you need one right out of the gate? No, you don't need one. You can do
Yeah.
this out of your house. You can get a rental unit, to store your stuff in if you want.
Yeah.
So there's always that opportunity, which when you are first starting out in a business, I get it.
Mhm.
You got to watch your margins. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can do home. As far as
Okay.
what we're looking for, net worth of 200K, we
Okay.
like liquid working capital of 75K. Um, all in, you're probably looking, and we're doing our FDD right now, but
Oh, okay.
you're between like a 184 and 232, and that
Okay.
includes the territory fee of 59.9. So
Mhm. Okay. 59.9. Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so a great opportunity with incredible support for really low investment. I guess as far as barriers of entry go, that's you're not going to find a more successful brand, I think, at the price point. So that's great. And of course, it'll shift, as you guys know, with multi-unit potential and those kind of things as well. But and even still, at the end of the day, for people, it's going to come down to, as you know, Nathan, as you get asked all the time, will this be successful? What's the profit going to look like? If I'm going to step away from my job, my career, my corporate position to do this, to become a business owner, can I replace it and some, right? And so can this help me meet my goals? So can you share? I know you just mentioned you're doing the FDD right now. Can you tell us a little about what the item 19 is? And for those of you, at least for HOODZ, and for those of you that we've talked about this before, maybe you're unfamiliar with what that is. Within every organization's, every franchise's disclosure document, it's called their FDD. Every franchise has to have one, right? It's a legally a binding document that kind of helps shares who the company is in full transparency. It's split up into a number of different items. Kind of think about it like chapters of a book. And the 19th item is the kind of the financial disclosures as well. And every company is kind of different how they share that, but it's going to be one of a couple ways that you, as a potential investor or business owner, really will be able to kind of get an answer to that question of what might this look like for me moving forward. So Nathan, can you share a little bit about maybe what that looks like for HOODZ?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would encourage anybody looking at item 19. I mean, that's where you get your meat and potatoes at. And
Mm-hmm.
it's going to show, for us, a great growth over the past 3 to 4 years. So it's great to
Yeah.
share. But I also say you always want to reach out to the field, right? Because
Yep.
that's the truth. They're going to give you the honest to God truth of everything
Mm-hmm.
you're going to go through and what
Yep.
this looks like. So,
Yep.
but going back to the item 19, I mean, so our average clean is over 800, and we've had consistent growth of that over the past 3 years. If you look at our multi-territory, those owners are well over 1.5 million.
Wow.
Even below that, if you look in our, 50 single territory owners, most of them are approaching $1 million in sales. So
Really? For
yeah,
cleaning ovens? That's wild.
yeah, it's something. And it
I
goes
guess the
back to that.
margins are probably they got to be pretty good since I assume you don't have a ton of overhead.
I mean, labor is your number one,
Yeah, for sure.
obviously, and you just got to make sure you're traveling, within reason, and
Yeah.
you're keeping the jobs lumped together.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just got to keep some eye on that. But again, that's where your business coach can really help you out. I weigh heavy on the
Mm-hmm.
support system because
Mm-hmm.
that's who's going to help you look at that stuff and once you get established.
Yeah. Wow, that's so good. Nathan, my last question for you today is this: is why, should an elite entrepreneur and an empire builder, why should they consider a HOODZ franchise over some of your competitors? And to be honest, I don't even know if I could name another competitor in in franchising in this space. So I would assume a lot of your competitors are probably going to be mom and pop shops. but or businesses, so to speak. But why should someone consider this if they're on the fence right now? What would you say is kind of our last piece of advice?
I mean, again, whether it's HOODZ or not, you look at that support aspect, make sure you're getting that. The repeat business is always a plus in any business that you go through. Ours just has that little extra niche of being code compliant. So I feel like that's what helps push us above some of the others. And keep in mind, I mean, with our restaurant count, that does not include, all the prison systems, hospitals, arenas, all that other stuff like casinos. So there's a lot of other things that you can go after with that. And
wow. Yeah, that's I didn't even think about that too. That's creative. So, and man, so good. Nathan, genuinely, thank you, my friend. I want to be respectful of your time and our guests, our viewers' time as well. And I can't appreciate you enough in to invest into this group and share about the HOODZ opportunity. And I feel like I am way more excited about this opportunity than I came into it, to be honest. I didn't know. And so I feel like this was highly educational for me. It's going to be highly educational for a number of my candidates and the people in this group looking for the right franchise opportunity. Man, I'm excited for the future of you guys with, you even mentioned your item 19 and how the past 3 years, you guys have seen a lot of growth in the right direction. Well, you also mentioned that you've been the president for 3 years. And so I think that was a really kind of a behind the scenes or humble way of saying like, hey, a lot of this is a big testament to your leadership and over this company. And so I'm man, congratulations to you in that regard. And I know big things lie ahead for HOODZ. So it's exciting.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and I got to weigh on my team, right? My team is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the growth of restaurants and fast food like DoorDash and all that, it's a great opportunity because that food's all got to be cooked somewhere and it needs to be cleaned. So
and it has to. It legally has to be cleaned. So man, talk about something that is a need and won't be going away. What a great opportunity this is. So if you are interested, my friends, in elite entrepreneurs in learning about this opportunity, one, if there's territory around you that's available, and then two, do you qualify? What I want you to do right now is type HOODZ in the chat. So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this a year or 2 years from now or whenever, type HOODZ in the comments. We will reach out and get a conversation going with you to begin that process. This is not you saying, yes, I'm going with HOODZ. I'm signing my name on the dotted line. No, not even close. You still have several months before then. This is just saying, hey, I'm curious. Let's talk. Let's see if this might be the right fit for me in my future. That's what this really is about. We also threw in the comments there for you the link to begin that qualification process. So we threw that assessment. It takes you about 8 minutes to complete, and that'll kind of really help begin that for you. So again, Nathan, I can't appreciate you enough. Thank you so much, my friend. I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah. All right, friends. I wanted to end with this. I wanted to show you an interview or a testimony rather of a franchisee currently in the HOODZ system. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
My name is Brendan Gallagher. I was a chef for 27 years. It's why I actually got into the franchise. During my 27 years, I've had one or two problems with hiring the right company and HOODZ people. And when I came across the franchise, it kind of clicked with me. Hey, here's a wonderful opportunity to get into something that is a very small niche in the industry. A lot of people don't know about. And I thought bringing a professionalism to a part of the job in the food service industry is a great idea. It starts from the training and the people. And knowing that every franchisee has to go through this intense, interesting yet fun training, it really sets you up for success. I also believe too that the profit margins is a good franchise because the profit margins are there for you for the taking.